Today we're going to talk about unemployment. South Africa has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Nationally, we have a 35% unemployment rate. But anybody that has ever visited the townships, you can tell that unemployment rate in the township is up to 80%. Everywhere you look, there are boys and men just sitting on the side of the street. Now the question most boys ask me, if you are me, how would you start? How do you start building yourself? Now my answer to those is this video. I'm going to take you through what I would do if I was in your shoes. If you are to start any kind of business, or if you are to be gainfully employed, you have to have assets. And the number one assets that most employers look for, number one is skill set. And to have a skill set, you have to have some kind of tertiary education, some kind of tertiary training. You have to have some kind of schooling. But the most unfortunate thing is most of the boys I talk to don't have enough schooling. The second asset that you need, of course, is time. And the third asset that you need is energy. So if you are to start a business, right now, let's say I'm a 20, 25, 26, 28-year-old young black African in South Africa, and I'm struggling to get work, I'll have to focus on my two strongest assets. Number one, I have to ask myself, what is my academic qualification? Now, almost everybody has a metric. Majority of the boys I talk to, they have some kind of degree. But just having the tertiary education does not necessarily mean that you're an expert in anything. So when you start going to look for work because you have a metric or you have a university degree, the biggest problem with most of those boys is they're already fixed on how much they need to earn. And my question to them is always one: how much have you made with your qualification? So I need to take all those things and I need to strip myself of all kind of tertiary academic education and ask myself, what are my two assets? Number one is time. If you're unemployed, it means you have a lot of time. Number two, if you're that young, it means that you have a lot of energy. Now, this becomes the two main assets that I'm going to use as investment for me to kickstart my life. How do I invest them? The first thing I'll do here is I will start to learn. My thing here is you have to learn before you earn. Learn before you earn. Before you earn. The unfortunate problem with most of our kids, they want to earn before learning. And if you look at earning means the L is missing. You have to learn before you earn. How do I start learning? Traditionally, because we didn't believe in academic tertiary education, we used to have the mentorship program. We used to have a system where they'll send you to somebody that is qualified, somebody that is a master in a field. Let's say it's a carpenter. Let's say it's a mason. Let's say it's a mechanic. So we used to have that system where they take you and your parents or your family gives you to this person that is good in that profession for the next 10 years. His job is to train you, and he will use you like a slave. He will drive you hard, but after 10 years, you have some tangible profession, a tangible skill that you can use. But nowadays, because most of us don't do that, the easiest way for us to make sure that you acquire as much knowledge as possible is online resources. Right now, knowledge, information has been democratized. Education used to be very expensive. If you come from a poor family, chances are you cannot afford the expensive schools, which give the best education and becomes the bridge or becomes the stepping stone into the corporate world or into those better paying jobs in the world. So number one now here, to learn and learn before you earn, you have to start using your online resources. There's so many. YouTube is a university on its own. And the beauty of things like YouTube right now, I can enroll in a free online Harvard University course and I can become a master in that because very few people use it for that. Number two is books. Books are cheap now. We have to start learning. We have to go back to studying books. We have to take in as much knowledge, as much education as possible. Reading, whether you've been to school or not, it's something that you can learn. And the easiest way for you to learn is find somebody that can read and tell them. They'll help you. It could be during your lunchtime. It could be whatever time. But it's very hard for you to meet 2-3 people and none of them knows to read. If that's the case, then you just have to widen your circle. You have to move from where you are right now and find some other people to hang out with, and find other people to associate with. The second thing I'll do here is I'll start attending events. And your question here is, if I'm a township poor black boy, what kind of events will I attend? The first one is church. There's so many. Church is such a big resource among the black people. It is one place where from the richest to the poorest come to the same church. If you went to church with the sole intention that you want to connect with the people in there, going there as an empty cup, that by the time you come out, you want to be filled up, I can guarantee you, if you do less talking and more listening, you will find somebody that is going to take your hand and lift you from your poverty. The other thing here is we can always attend events online. Social media has made it very easy for us to join masterminds, to join special groups, to join whatever kind of groups. If you're a praying person, praying groups. If you're a thinking person, thinking groups. You are doing person, doing groups. When you start going to these places, these marketplaces with the intention, where there's intentionality, the attention follows. If you go there with the sole intention that I want to connect with a certain kind of people so that I can get this outcome, our biggest problem is lack of clarity. People go to church, people go to these events without discussing within themselves what kind of outcome they want. The other thing I'll do here is I will offer in exchange, I will offer my time. Time is a scarce resource, and as a young, unemployed person, you have a lot of time. I will offer my time in exchange for knowledge. And how will I do this? I'll do this simply through volunteering. You're sitting home the whole day anyway. So if you're sitting at home from morning to night watching television, do you think your life is going to change? Do you think your tomorrow will be better? So why not use that time properly? And the best way to use that time is to volunteer that time. You volunteer that time as an intern to any business related to your field of interest. This allows you to gain on work experience. It gives you skill set that you get only from doing. I'm a big believer in experiential learning, where you're learning as you acquire skills. Most people say, you know what, when I become better, I'm going to do this. But the truth is you can never become better until you start. And you'll never start until you accept that you suck. When you start doing new things, you're not going to be the best. A professional is just an amateur that refuses to quit. A professional is just an amateur that consistently kept on repeating the same thing to make sure that they don't get it wrong. And this is where the big difference between an amateur and a professional. An amateur will always say that I want to do this until I get it right. But a professional will always insist that he has to keep on doing until he can't get it wrong. And this brings me to Bruce Lee's famous saying where he says, I'm afraid of a man that practices the same one kick 10,000 times rather than a man that does kicks for 10,000 times. So one thing, consistency, perfect practice creates or builds perfection. And that's where we have to become. Now, when you offer your time, when you exchange your time for knowledge, it's also useless if you've not set personal high standards. A person that never do anything never walk away from something until it's finished. And what I mean with that is you have to have such a high personal standards. You have to set your standards that when you deliver a project, when you take something and you do it, everybody that has a look at it, everybody that comes in contact with it must say, "Shoo, I've never seen such a work." Martin Luther King said it best. It doesn't matter what you do, because even if you are a toilet cleaner, if you are a street sweeper, you should be the best street sweeper in the world. You should be the best toilet cleaner in the world. You have to take pride in what you do. You have to love what you're doing until you meet what you love. Most people will always keep on doing whatever they're doing, saying, "I'm just in the waiting phase here, but when I get what I like, I'm going to do it better." That's a lie. Because until you graduate in terms of excellence, until you graduate in terms of raising personal standards, where you say that I can never hand this project in until it meets this criteria, chances are that you will fail. You have to become so good in what you do that you never put yourself under the power of somebody else that is your boss to fire you. You should be unfireable. You should even be working for someone. He pays you a salary, but he has no power to fire you, because if he fires you, he cheats himself. You have to be replaceable. And to be replaceable, it means consistently you have to keep on writing yourself obsolete. You have to keep on beating your best record every day. You have to make sure that the people that are around you, anything that you do is associated with a high standard. The other thing here, number 4, is you have to start small. You have to start small. Most people I talk to will always say, "I can't start my own business because I don't have money." If everybody had money, everybody would start a business. If you look at the biggest multinationals, it's very few people that had money. For any business to start, the two most common assets that we all have is always, the two assets we have is time, energy, and a skill set. So if you have energy because you're young, and you have time because you're unemployed, what is the one thing that if you do so well, you become like a dentist if I have a toothache? What is that one thing? Now, the minute you realize that you have that, now you start it. And I'll start with a very simple example. A boy who was talking to me tells me that I'm a very good trainer. I'm one of the best trainers. That's what he was telling me. But I don't have money to start my own gym. Ask him, what's money got to do with it? How long have you been doing personal training? Because if you want to start a gym, you have to start from the ground up. How do you do that? Number one, if you have the qualification, if you don't have the qualification as a trainer, you don't need qualification for you to start training yourself. You train yourself, you start training your family members, you start training friends around. Before you know it, you raise money to go get certification. From that, you're going to move into any of the gym facilities around you. From there, when you start your own personal training, you start getting customers, you start charging customers, you start saving a certain amount. You'll buy one equipment, you'll buy a kettlebell, you'll buy 2 dumbbells, you'll buy a skipping rope. Now, based on that, you can start doing home calling. Now, that's how you start. You start from these small little things, and as you start investing and saving this money, you'll build your gym. But most people don't understand the power of small beginnings. Everybody wants to go straight to the penthouse, but they forget that in most cases, you have to start in the basement. Nobody wants to start in the basement. And that's the biggest problem with most of our boys here. Most of the boys I talk to that come to me for work, they already want to negotiate a salary, but he has no skill set. So my question to him is, I'll pay you 10K, I'll pay you 20K, whatever it is that you're asking. But that is that is something that is tangible, I'm paying you. But what do I get in return? Oh, I'm going to do this. No, you don't. Because in the marketplace, unfortunately, you get charged for results. You get charged not for the hours you work. I don't really care how hard you work. I don't really care how long you work. We get judged by the outcome that you give. And if your outcome is negative, your outcome is unsatisfactory, and you keep on telling people how hard you work, you're going to suffer. The workplace does not work like that at all. So you have to have the ability to learn that you have to start small. because if you don't start small, you will suffer. Number 5, you have to start using free software. There is a lot of free software online that you can use depending on what kind of business you want to get into. You have free versions and tools that we can use, such as Google Worksheets, Google Workspace for productivity. We have things like Canva for design. We have Trello for project management. It is depending on what you want to do, be it video production, be it teaching, be it a service-related offering, be it a product, but there is always a lot online at this point. And if you are technologically challenged, I will beg you that you have to upgrade yourself. In the world that we're living in now, unfortunately, if your technology skills are low, you will suffer. Just pre-COVID, I was very bad technologically. The only thing I was using was my phone and my iPad for books. But when COVID hit, I had to adjust very quickly. I had to start understanding how to use a laptop. I had to start understanding how to use cameras. I had to start understanding how to edit videos. All those things I had to do because it was either that or I die. And I refused at that point. I'm not going to die. I had to evolve very quickly. And the resources, there's a lot of resources online that most of our young people can use. Number 6, there is yet any young person that I know that is not on social media. So you can change content creation. You can use content creation as your investment. If you look at, you are posting something. You are posting something, but the thing is, what are you posting? Are you posting if you wake up in the morning and you eat oats, you post oats. When you go to the shebeen, you drink your beer, is that what you post? Oh, I just painted my nails red. You are posting something. But if you are intentional, if you start using social media with certain intention, remember what I'm talking about here is you have to always start with the end in mind. What is it that you want? Now, if you turn your page into a resource, if you turn your channel into a resource, and the easiest thing is, as easy as start to share your journey. When you wake up in the morning, in the beginning it will be boring, but trust me, after 30 days, it will become something totally different because a lot of people will start relating to you. Your story needs to be told. Start sharing your journey. Start sharing your knowledge. Start sharing your insight. This can help you build a brand and attract an audience. Now, people or an audience is money. If you want money, you have to have people. You have to have followers, or you have to become some kind of an influencer, because the only way that most people appreciate what you're doing is to give you hard, cold cash. You need money, but you cannot make money without people. So you have to start using your time positively. You have to start using your time consciously and intentionally. You have to start using your content to engage the readers or the viewers. Social media is always selling something. And if you think social media is free, if you're not selling something on social media, if you're not actively going there with a specific action, then trust me, you're the product that social media is selling. Because social media sells attention. Social media, Facebook can go anywhere and say, by today, I'm going to make sure that I will bring 100 million eyes onto this, to watch this content on this page. So if you're not selling something, you are the product. The other thing we have to learn here is, as young people, we must learn to collaborate. Collaboration is key. One thing that changed how much money people make in the world is when Steve Jobs created the app on iPhone, because app on iPhone became a platform where so many people can come and showcase their product, showcase their wear, showcase their knowledge. The iPhone app is simply like a supermarket, where all that a supermarket does, it provides shelves, and you come and stock the shelves and the people come in. It's a beautiful business to be in, because Whoever goes into the supermarket statistically has a 99% chance is going to spend something. So imagine just getting a supermarket, putting in some shelves, and then going to people that do different things, and they come in and you say, you sell this for 10 bucks, I'm going to take 2 rounds from that. And that's how things work. And most of our young people, unfortunately, don't really understand that. Most of our young people have been taught that you have to go to school and you have to be employed. So going back to the traditional way, how we use to do it, where you find an older person that is a professional in a field, and you take a young person that is interested in that field and you put them together and he comes, works under this man, that is still the best way. I'm a big believer in modeling rather than any other kind of mentorship. I'm a big believer in modeling than mentorship. You know, modeling is about, if I'm a farmer, or I'm a preacher, or I'm a scientist, if I want to be, I want to be the best scientist, like whoever the other scientist is, all I have to do is watch what they do. Modeling is more powerful than mentoring, because mentoring has a lot of barriers. The person has to accept me, they have to have a certain criteria. And mentoring, modeling, you don't have to have somebody in your life doing it. You can model what people do online. Nowadays, the universe, the world has become a very small village because of technology. People are putting their own life online. All you need is clarity. You need to know what to do. Right now, irrespective of how bad you think you are, you have everything that you need to succeed. You just need to decide. Not choose, but you need to decide. You have time and you have knowledge. You have time, you have knowledge, and you have energy. Those are 3 most powerful assets that anybody can use when it comes to investing in any business. When you say you don't have money to start a business, it's not a matter of not having resources. It's a matter of you not being resourceful. I need you to be resourceful. This world that we're living in, you young black kids, nobody's going to employ you, because jobs, nobody's creating jobs anymore. So nobody's going to employ you. You have to change your mindset, and you have to start creating value for society, and they have to pay you. Let me know which of these points resonates with you. Let me know how I can assist you. Feel free to like and share. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do the right thing. Subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Whatever it is that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comment section, and I will do a video on it. God bless, and take care of yourself.